So I was doing some thinking, and every time I say that, it gives me a flashback. Um, I used to be told when I was younger that if you're going to think, leave it to those that are qualified. Yeah, so that's sad. Anyways, get back to what I was saying. I was doing some research, and then I used the word deity. And I just thought about it. This almost sounds like deity, which is, like a god, right? They say that. And then I was thinking about like how people go on a diet, right? And the whole idea of having control of your emotions, doing your healing and stuff like that makes you lighter. And yes, your clarity, your closure makes you lighter. I don't know if you're well aware of fasting, but many cultures do the fasting. Our stomachs are not used to eating a shit ton of food. We're not used to eating breakfast. You used to wake up, do hard labor, and then you have your food if you get a chance. And it wasn't a lot of food. And we're not used to being so rich in that department where we just stuff our bodies full of food. And then we have all sorts of complications and everything like that because we're so weighed down. It's not just like the emotional stress. It is the physical stress too, and what we put into our bodies as well as information. You can digest a book. You remember Reader's Digest? My granny had that. But yeah, you can digest knowledge and you can digest food. Both equally have an impact on us inside and out. And when you do your fasting, if you choose to do your fasting, it actually boosts the metabolism. I'm not a doctor. If you have any complications, don't do any fasting, but it's very, it's enlightening to be able to control that. If you can control what you consume, if you get the self-discipline in that area where you can control what you eat, and believe it or not, once you get past the whole your stomach fighting you, where it releases the chemical, like you act hungry, it's like you got an angry stomach. It's doing this so that you will eat. But once you surpass that, you drink water, tea, whatever you want. Once you surpass that and you get past that point, you'll realize that no, actually, your body's doing pretty good, and you don't need to constantly be consuming food. And your body starts changing when your metabolism speeds up. It's almost back to when you were like a child, and you could eat sugar and all this crap, and your body starts changing, and you begin to realize you're more healthy in other ways too. So it's not just the emotions that have an impact, because that's a chemical. It's also the food that you're eating as well, that you're taking in. So when you do fasting or something like that, the connection you kind of get with your own body, learning your own body all over again, instead of being dependent on certain things. That in itself is a lesson too. And the self-discipline, I mean, like I said, when you can control what you consume, you have control of yourself. Much better control over yourself. And it's freeing, and it makes you not just on the conscience, but it makes you lighter. And if you have health complications or anything like that, it's like a reboot of your system when you do your fasting and do your research. I think when I started doing it, it was like intermittent. And then I was able to go a few days before eating and truly appreciate the food when I eat it. And then I realized when I did eat that the amount I was eating, I was already full when I had an amount that was less than I could. I used to be able to put away a whole plate plus some. That's not normal for a human body's regular function. What is it, like the size of a bagel you're supposed to be able to eat and fit in your stomach. When we stretch it, we're doing damage internally, and we're making our bodies internally work overboard, like overboard. um, and yeah, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I wanted abs and I got abs. So mind you, you do your workout as well. But when I did the whole fasting and everything like that, it literally is like a jump start. Your body starts to remember how to function properly. And then I also realized what my addictions were, because I cut out coffee, I cut out sugar. And then I realized I needed sugar. My doctor told me my blood sugar was very, very low. They said, eat sugar. I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay. So, and then when I got the taste of sugar, I started putting more honey in my tea or whatever and eating more and more. My body's like, oh, I remember that. And then I was like, okay, now we gotta monitor this, because it became like an addiction. Same with the coffee. When I cut the coffee out and then I drank coffee, 1 cup, I was like, oh my, right? I felt like I could conquer the world, like the world was in my hands. And then I was having 2 cups and then 3. And then I was like, what? I used to limit it just to 1 back in the day. Like I didn't want any more than that. And now I'm just like, now I realize that moderation is definitely key to what you take in your system. It's very important. And the whole idea of fasting, don't knock it till you try it. Like I said, getting my body back, getting myself back in shape, um, getting my health back, my immune system, all the way up. It's amazing. It really does help. It's truly good for you. And if you're diabetic or anything like that, you can still do the fasting. You can. And you can gain control of your body again. Because what it is, it itself is an imbalance when it comes to that sort of thing as well. It's almost like we've pushed our bodies too far when it comes to certain things, and things develop from there. I mean, your body is your temple, you know? Yeah? Respect yourself. Your body is very, very important. I needed to learn this because I wasn't treating myself right. I wasn't taking care of myself properly. I was gorging, or I was overindulging, or I was addicted to certain things. And sugar's in everything. To cut that out, it was very difficult. I literally had to go from processed white sugar to brown sugar or cane sugar, or I even found coconut sugar. Interesting taste. Then to honey. And then from there, even I cut that out after a while, because I was be like scooping my tea and a scoop in my mouth. It's like, oh, that taste of sugar is so sweet. But yeah, addictions, not just chemically. Your body releases these things, especially when it wants something, whether it be a scenario, an emotion, a reaction, whatever it remembers, like those people that do base diving, skydiving, that adrenaline rush that they get, the thrill. that they get, it's a thing. Your body releases the chemicals, and you can become addicted to that too. But there are good things to be, I don't want to say good things to be addicted to, but there are things that we can do to replace the negative addictions. And so I don't know about anybody else when it comes to alcohol, drugs, anything like that. I mean, I'm one to talk. When I had to go through my detox, smoking, drinking, it did a number on me, and it was a lot of self-discipline to get me to that point. But the codependence I had on smoking, for example, with the anxiety I had with crowds or people around me, and how I used that as a crutch so that I felt comfortable like a blanket. It was literally a comfort. It was something that I used to make me feel safe. And when really it was just in my head that I didn't feel safe or comfortable or anything. It was a confidence thing, and I had to figure out where that came from. And then finally I had to get to the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then wean myself off of it, because my body, knows what it wants, and it will it gave me a hard time. But then when I had already made up my mind, when I already made up the decision that I wanted to quit, I said, no, it's not good for me. That's not what I want. And excuse me. So yeah, chemicals, addictions, can be emotions, and food is a big, what do you call that? Form of comfort. But it can also do a lot of damage too if we're not respecting the fact that we get to eat every day. If you go a long period without eating, you fast for a long time, and then you have a piece of fruit, say your favorite, think of your favorite fruit, and you eat that and you enjoy it, and you're like, this is so good. The appreciation you get behind that, the understanding you will finally have, is like, wow. And realizing that you weren't dying of starvation. You were not as hungry as you thought you were. Your brain just kind of tricked your body into thinking that you needed it. You need more, you don't. You can actually survive a long time without food. I mean, this isn't severe circumstance. I'm just saying the appreciation I have learned. I get caught up once in a while, like when I bake my own bread, and then I have a slice of it, and then I want more. I want another slice of bread. Oh, baked bread, homemade baked bread with butter. And then next thing you know, I had 3-4 pieces of bread. It just goes to show you. It's not just emotions that we can be addicted to. Just some food for thought.